Part 13. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhenshen. Chapter 121. There are some small differences between a diver wearing an alien suit and a real alien. There is a slight difference in body structure. The distance between Naga's newly added legs is slightly wider, which is a bit awkward, but it is acceptable. Xiaoming controlled two alien-shaped bodies, large and small, moving in unison in the diver's room. By practicing in this way, the movement patterns of the two will be the same, and it will be easier to concentrate than before, and the effect of exercise will naturally be twice the result with half the effort. From walking to running and jumping, they finally even performed some radio gymnastics together in a fake show. After operating to this extent, Xiaoming felt happy. Xiaoming was really worried about the alien clone thing before. I absolutely can't bear to give up my clone. I want to use it but can't operate it well. The difficulty level is too high. This is another village where everything is bright and clear. Unexpectedly, even using the sword in an eccentric way can have miraculous effects. Xiaoming was in a good mood and even thought of elsewhere. For example, you can choose to make the alien suit reveal itself in the future, so that your true face can be hidden. Doesn't it mean that he has a hidden identity? Regardless of the Pangu star or the Yanhuang 3 stars, there were always things that were not dared or inconvenient to do in the past. From now on, you can do these things under the skin of an alien, and it will be much easier to do things. Fear of the powerful surveillance systems and computer analysis capabilities of modern society prevents Xiaoming from using his superpowers too much. It's really easy to be discovered. It would be foolish to underestimate the intelligence capabilities of the major forces. So Xiaoming has always tried to be cautious. Being discovered by the nine-tailed fox was an unexpected situation. This kind of advanced alien artificial intelligence is really a bit foul. Now, the aliens just need to be more cautious when doing things. Who would have thought that the ferocious alien and ordinary human Zhang Xiaoming could be the same person? When his thoughts drifted here, Xiaoming couldn't help but feel a little regretful. In the secret realm where alien versus predator, the predator's invisibility ability was not gained. He does have the iron-blooded armor, but it is stored in the steward space of the character in the iron-blooded secret realm, and can only be used in that secret realm. It cannot be taken out in reality. Typical of Delong and Wangshu, Xiaoming has gained little. Proving the power of magic, he upgraded Neza and got the Mind Beast clone, the Alien Lord. If this is too little, why not let others live? Xiaoming also knew that he was greedy enough. What you have already obtained is enough to make you stinky. After 2 minutes of fun, Xiaoming suddenly thought of another thing. We can accept the alien state, and the women's clothing doesn't seem so scary. I can wear other uniforms and get a fake face or mask or something, and it won't be difficult to hide my identity. It seems that you don't have to disguise yourself as an alien. Being a cross-dressing master can completely hide your identity. Women's clothing may not be more shameful than aliens. At least it doesn't have the clone's function of giving birth to offspring. Xiaoming couldn't help but doubt his own IQ. I didn't think about this until now. Am I stupid? Or smart? Stupid. Both cross-dressing and alien disguise methods have their pros, and cons. Aliens are not easily linked to Xiaoming, but they may attract unnecessary attention from many forces. On the contrary, the possibility of being noticed by the cross-dressing boss is less, but the possibility of being linked to Xiaoming is much greater than that of the alien. Which one to use? You have to analyze the situation in detail when faced with it. It is estimated that in the near future, superhero legends such as Alien Man and Uniform Man will appear in the city. It's a good idea. It's more likely to be urban horror rumors about monsters and perversions. The diver gathered his telekinesis, cancelled the clone and alien suit, and took out the heritage orb. Take a deep breath and choose to use it. A faint blue light floated out from the orb and enveloped the diver. Xiaoming closed his eyes, calmed down and accepted the new knowledge. After a while, Xiaoming opened his eyes, and the orb in his hand had turned into powder. Naga's inherited sword skills have been deeply engraved in Xiaoming's mind. This inheritance orb is really powerful. The diver's original combat skills continuous slash and parry have disappeared. Instead, Naga inherited sword skills. The sword skill rating is purple perfect sword skill. But at this stage, divers are still far from being able to exert its power. Xiaoming can only use the two-arm sword technique for the time being. It's just a white ordinary level combat skill. For the Naga clan, it really doesn't work if they don't have enough arms. Xiaoming, who has tasted the benefits of telekinesis, wants to use telekinesis to solve this problem. If you can make a tail, you can make an arm. Unexpectedly, as soon as he mobilized his telekinesis, he discovered that after developing the alien suit, the potential of telekinesis was almost exhausted. In the language of the game, the skill points for telekinesis have been used up, and new skills cannot be opened. We have to continue to accumulate. Humph. Do you think this will trouble me? Don't even think about it, Xiaoming angrily said. I have peerless martial arts, but now I can only use it as a third-rate martial arts. I can't reconcile it. I can't solve it with telekinesis, but I still have the iron-blooded Neza. Let's see who has the trick. Neza used to be just an arm guard, relatively small in size and always inconspicuous. So much so that Xiaoming often forgets that he has such equipment. The upgraded iron-blooded Neza is an arm armor that covers the entire right arm to the shoulder. It's hard to ignore such a big piece of armor. Taishuan Neza, which is made of liquid metal, can simulate many metal objects and can also simulate metal robotic arms. Before upgrading to the Iron Blood Secret Realm, 8 mechanical arms can be extended, but those mechanical arms are different from human arms. The functions are very different. In the field of mechanics, mechanical arms are much more useful than human hands. It is not as good as a simple screwdriver to screw screws by hand. Xiaoming has never tried to use Neza to simulate human arms. Upgrading to Iron Blood Neza was this morning. The material and total amount of liquid metal have increased a lot. Xiaoming thinks it is worth a try. The consumption of simulating human hands must be much greater. In order to play a similar function to that of human arms, organs such as bones, muscles, and tendons must be simulated. With the assistance of the intelligent system, the mechanical arm armor turned into a pool of silver liquid, slowly flowing up from Xiaoming's right arm. The original appearance of the explorer's right hand, forearm, and upper arm was revealed bit by bit. The metal liquid flowed and concentrated to the position of Xiaoming's shoulders near the clavicle. Then it slowly grew upwards and slowly accumulated into shape. Just like 3D printing, 2 metal arms slowly grew out from here. After the 2 arms were formed, there was still some liquid metal that was not used, so it was combined into a piece of armor at the back of the neck to connect the 2 metal arms. It was very simple. The arms were successfully made, but Xiaoming was not very happy. He tried to wave the new arms a few times, and the movements were very smooth. But I always felt that this was a waste of materials and there should be room for improvement. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 122. The metal arms don't need to be so detailed, as long as they can swing the sword normally, many unimportant things can be eliminated. After careful consideration, Xiaoming redesigned the plan in his mind. After checking it again, he felt that there was no problem. So he put it into practice. The 2 metal arms turned into liquid again, gathered at a point at the back of the diver's neck spine, and formed a straight line with the left and right shoulders. A fulcrum was condensed here. From the fulcrum, 4 mechanical arms were generated in the upper left, upper right, and lower right directions respectively. This time, the arms were cut corners a lot. It was basically skin and bones, because it was made of metal, even if it looked thinner, it actually crushed normal flesh and blood arms in all aspects. Xiaoming didn't care about the appearance, as long as the function was okay. Besides, the mechanical arms were thinner and longer, and they were not ugly. Xiaoming, who was waving 6 arms, felt that Neza had really played a part at this moment, and the name should have played its role. Neza had 3 heads and 6 arms in the legend. This is also the origin of the name of this equipment. Although there are no 3 heads now, there are 6 arms. The method of using it is ready-made. Naga's inherited 6-arm sword technique, blue excellent level. This inheritance is already in Xiaoming's mind, and only the arms are missing. Taking out 4 spare knives from the diver's backpack, Xiaoming began to practice the 6-arm sword technique. To say that the skills directly instilled into the brain using the inheritance gem are awesome, you can basically use them once you get started. If you learn this 6-arm sword technique normally, you will not hurt yourself by thousands of knives, and it will be difficult to even get started. If it is Xiaoming, who has an underdeveloped cerebellum, he may not be able to get started in his lifetime. Now Xiaoming can move all 6 arms at the same time, waving out an overwhelming sword light that can cover his figure, but he doesn't cut himself much. This is the value of the inheritance gem. If this scene is seen by other sea creatures, it will definitely cause an uproar. A level 1 Naga is actually using the 6-arm Naga sword technique. Is this the favor of the sea god to the Naga clan? Or is it just a special care for this Naga? Xiaoming practiced for more than an hour. He sat on a rock on the seabed to rest until his metal arms were tired, breathing heavily. Sitting on a rock is not strange. The stools and tables in the divers' homes are basically replaced by a stone, and even the bed is a larger stone. How hard must that stone bed be? No wonder all the sea people have thick skin and flesh. It turns out that they are trained like this. Fortunately, Xiaoming himself does not need to sleep on it. Opening the character panel, I saw that the system has acknowledged that the diver has successfully mastered the entry level of the Naga tribe's 6-arm swordsmanship. Of course, learning the 4-5 level swordsmanship is not possible to upgrade a level 1 diver to level 4. It just increases the diver's physical attack power and defense power to 3 times the original. And it only takes effect when the diver uses 6 arms. Attack power *3 is normal. Defense power is also *3 because the Naga tribe generally does not use shields, and defense is also blocked by the sword in their hands. Therefore, it also needs *3. Although the attack and defense of a level 1 professional are both *3, they are not that abnormal. It is about the attack power of a level 2. If you use the Naga inherited sword technique, the attack bonus attached to the advanced skill is very high. Although Xiaoming cannot fully exert it, it can also make the diver comparable to the level 3 professional in terms of attack and defense. However, the weak vitality and strength reduce the diver's continuous combat ability. It is estimated that the current combat power can only be equivalent to that of a level 2 medium professional. Don't worry, there is a long time to come, and the tide will rise. Xiaoming is very confident that his combat power will continue to increase with the level. Level 2 will be reached soon. At that time, the diver should grow 2 more arms, and he can use the 8-arm sword technique. Damn! Isn't that going against the sky? Xiaoming fell into the fantasy of YY and couldn't extricate himself. 6-arm sword technique. Thinking about this name, Xiaoming suddenly thought of the pretending artifact he had painstakingly designed, Claude 6 style combination sword. The 6 arms of the diver, holding Claude 6 knives, and using the 6-arm swordsmanship of Naga, must be very cool. I was about to try it, but found that I couldn't try it. Claude 6 styles were simulated by Xiaoming using Neza. Now that Neza has transformed into an arm, how can I simulate the combination of knives? Isn't this delaying my plan to pretend to be cool? Do I have to create another set of 6 style knives in each world just to pretend to be cool? It would be better to continue to improve Neza. But it's hard to find a way to improve general equipment. Xiaoming, who was thinking about it, decided to change his role to adjust his mood. In the suburbs of Xinluo City, the Li family pirates were playing. There was a little loli with long black hair in the team. She was wearing a pink dress and a blue skirt, and her figure was petite. The little girl was jumping around and was very lively, making the atmosphere in the team much more lively. Admiral, Admiral, let me tell you a secret. I can actually cast spells. It's really powerful, a crisp voice sounded. The whisper was heard by the whole team. Before Li Huamei responded, there was a burst of laughter in the team. When we met her at the market, everyone saw the power of her spells. Girl, your spells are really powerful. You killed 2 flies in one go. James Reed was the first to tease. Yes, yes, uncle, I can't even hit you with my double swords. Miss Song, show us 2 more magics, they are much more beautiful than firecrackers. Yes, let's play, this is the wild, it won't cause any more commotion. All the sailors followed suit, and the little girl blushed. The group's favorite is the group's favorite, and her position in the team is clear at a glance. Don't listen to them. Feng Er, the pirate leader of the Li family, was rare and gentle, stroking the little loli's hair and comforting her. Your magic has great potential, sister won't lie to you. In my opinion, it will be as powerful as the magic of the Western world in the future. It's just that it's difficult to get started in Taoism practice, and it's even more difficult to practice it. You are still young, don't be impatient. Since the leader said so, the subordinates naturally have to support him. It's absolutely true. There was a drought in my hometown, so I asked a Taoist priest to cast a spell to pray for rain. It was sunny, but suddenly it started to rain heavily. It was amazing. The leader is knowledgeable and will definitely not make a mistake. Miss Xiao Feng Er, you should continue to practice and beat all of us uncles in the future. Listening to the nonsense of her subordinates, Li Huamei's eyes flashed with a trace of reminiscence. In fact, she didn't say some words because she was afraid of hurting the little girl. I had encountered the opportunity to cultivate immortals, but gave it up for my ideal. Because in terms of the same level, the combat effectiveness of Taoist priests is indeed not as good as other professions. Because the authentic practice of Taoism is not to enhance combat effectiveness or lethality, but to enhance the form of life. That little combat effectiveness is a buy one get one free gift. If I had chosen to cultivate immortals, I wonder if I would be the same as this little girl today. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 123. This little girl is called Song Xiaofeng, and she is from Xinluo. She is probably a genius in cultivation, her own words. Or maybe she is just lucky. In short, when she was very young, she was spotted by a Taoist master and accepted as a disciple, starting her journey of cultivation. But Xiaofeng was very favored because she was too young. The master and the brothers loved and indulged her very much, but they didn't expect that after a while, they spoiled her and got into trouble. This time she got into trouble and was finally scolded by the master. The little girl, who had never been scolded, was ashamed and angry, and she ran away secretly because of her childish temper. Xiaofeng, who left the master's door, was embarrassed to go home. She thought she was very capable, so she ran to the capital Xinluo to play. It was a rare opportunity, and the little girl played crazy. Not long after, she caused a commotion in the market because she used the magic she was not proficient in. In a hurry, she ran away and bumped into Li Huamei and others. How could the Li family embarrass a little girl? They comforted her and then parted ways. As a pirate, it seems that it is not right to take the initiative to send her home. When she learned that these people were pirates, the 14-year-old Xiao Feng was not afraid, but became attached to them and strongly requested to follow the ship. It is estimated that she felt that if she followed the ship, she could stay away from her master. More importantly, she felt that the way these people looked at her was quite similar to that of her master and his brothers. Somehow, Li Huamei also liked her and accepted her to everyone's surprise. Although pirates don't care about this, it's not good to employ child labor, right? The Li family's ship arrived in Xinluo City this morning. Li Huamei came to Xinluo specifically. Of course, she had something to do, so she took James and a few sailors with her. The researchers and others can move freely. When they heard that they could move freely, the sailors dispersed and disappeared in a blink of an eye. Xinluo is the capital of the Xinluo Kingdom, a city of capital level. Although it can't be compared with the Song dynasty's Bianliang city, its level is here. If it weren't for being a general under Li Huamei, the researcher would not have the qualifications to enter the city. Today, he finally got in, so why not have fun? Under the operation of the intelligent program Xiao'er, the researcher took Lin Shen to spend money in various shops in Xinluo and buy various local unique products. Most of these capitals are inhabited by many races, especially Xinluo. All major races may be encountered, including the undead. So Lin Shen, a skeleton, is not an eyesore when walking on the street. To say that Xiao'er's intelligent program is really good, as long as the goods he sees are novel, unseen, and not too expensive, he will buy some. When Xiao Ming comes online, these goods can be used as reference for him. In the process of purchasing, the experienced Lin Shen helped Xiao'er a lot. In the afternoon, Li Huamei had finished her work and gathered everyone for a picnic in the wild. Picnics don't seem like something pirates would do, let alone something Li Huamei would do. Could there be some hidden secret? However, Xiao Ming had no intention to explore Li Huamei's secret. Even when the little lowly was teased by the Li family, Xiao Ming did not pay attention or participate. He had just switched over and did not understand the situation. He was looking through the memories in his mind. In order to allow players to use multiple characters freely without being in a hurry. When switching characters, the system must inform the player of what the program did when the player was not there. Although players can check the system records themselves, the Magic Planet game still chooses to directly instill memories into the player's brain. This is definitely not for the ultimate gaming experience for players. It is obvious that this is to test the technology of memory installation. It is the same as the inheritance orb in the game. This kind of memory installation in the game system must be very gentle, and it will not rush into the player's brain all at once, causing confusion. It will be like a faucet, with a limiting valve, allowing new memories to be instilled at a very gentle speed. This technology has basically taken shape and is widely used in the military. But temporary users all have their own special circumstances. For the active military clones on the battlefield of Nuwa Star, combat skills are all instilled in memory. They are cannon fodder, so there is no need to worry about damaging their brains. Xiao Ming, Xiao Liang, and other clone reserve members in the Huangdi Galaxy have their entire life memories instilled in the dormant chamber. Because there is plenty of time, they are all input slowly. Natural soldiers or other people are generally instilled with some knowledge about certain skills only in the learning machine. The learning machine is also relatively safe. Only in extreme environments, when they are dying, will natural people forcefully and quickly instill memories regardless of anything. It's just a 1 in 10,000 chance. For the sake of caution, this technology has not been widely used on natural people in the military, let alone in the civilian market. Major research institutions headed by the New Han Royal Academy of Sciences are still cautiously researching and developing this technology. After all, the prospects of this technology are too broad. Xiao Ming began to pay attention to this matter after receiving the inheritance gem to instill the Naga swordsmanship. Some of the skills in Magic Planet are fundamentally different from those in other games. In other games, players don't really learn those skills. When the player character uses a skill, it is the game's built-in program that uses it. The player just chooses it. But in the Magic Planet, many skills are learned by the players themselves. Although there are built-in programs in the game, they play an auxiliary role. Of course, many times, due to the immersive game, the players did not realize that they had learned it. Zhang Xiaoming has been possessing superpowers for decades and is sensitive to energy. He only found out that he had learned magic at the beginning of the game. But due to the special nature of magic, Xiaoming only associated it with the special situation of the Yanhuang 3-star system. He did not pay much attention to the matter of being instilled with skills. The Naga swordsmanship he learned this time really shocked him and thought of the key. This is the technological version of the Jade Slip for passing on skills. When it comes to using memory infusion, Xiaoming has an advantage that others cannot match. His resistance to this kind of damage is stronger than most people. After using the original liquid of life, it's okay to have a stronger physical fitness, which is still in the category of ordinary people. The key point is that the mental power is much stronger, beyond the limit of ordinary people. And his superpowers can repair any damage, including brain damage that is most likely to be caused by memory infusion. This allows Xiaoming to learn more skills and knowledge with this technology. Of course, what Xiaoming has learned through this kind of indoctrination still needs constant practice to consolidate, but it is impressive enough. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 124. Big brother, please just let us in, okay? This kind of soft and gentle pleading, only one person in the whole team can do it, Song Xiaofeng. She curled up two small fists, put them in front of her little face, flattened her little mouth, blinked a pair of big watery eyes, and made a cute expression of a kitten. Let's go in and take a look, and pay our respects. I promise not to be naughty, Pinky. This is her trick that has always been successful in the Master's sect, the cute trick, and the captain of the guard in front of her is obviously unable to resist. Although he knew that she was pretending, he still couldn't bear to refuse. And he was also afraid that the little girl would fail to be cute, and if she started crying again, he would not be able to explain himself. Putting the long sword back into the scabbard at his waist, he waved helplessly at the little Lolita and the Li family. Okay, I'm afraid of you. Go in, but remember, you can only watch nearby, and you must not enter the royal mausoleum. The guards inside will kill people directly. Yeah. Thank you, big brother. Don't worry, we are just here to visit, and we won't go in to disturb him. The little Lolita cheered, jumped up and kissed the captain of the guard on the cheek. He blushed. Then the group walked into the periphery of the royal mausoleum. The captain of the guard smiled bitterly and shook his head. Since the Wuning King's mausoleum was unveiled, there has been an endless stream of people who want to visit. The royal family ordered strict inspections and ordinary people were not allowed to enter. Isn't this a mess? It would be fine if it could be strictly enforced, but there are always some people's favors to sell. Every now and then, there are always people who are asked to let in. Today is the weekend again, and there are more people visiting. Many of them are irresistible, and it doesn't matter if there is a little Lolita. Watching this scene, Xiaoming found that he seemed to have missed the plot. Why did we come to the royal tomb? Xiaoming had been distracted all the way. First, he reviewed what happened before switching to the previous one in his mind. After learning that the researcher had bought a lot of things, he secretly checked the new items in the backpack space. These were all bought by Xiao. Just a glance at Xiaoming knew that there was another way to make a fortune. Most of the things bought and sold in Xinluo capital are high-end goods. Xinluo is a country with mixed races. There are three major races: humans, orcs, and undead. There are also many other subspecies, such as half-orcs, dwarves, etc. Such a racial composition makes the country's goods rich and colorful. And because of the sea products here are not too expensive. If you want to dump goods here, the profit is not big. But Zinluo is the best place to buy goods, and you can buy things from all races. It is worth noting that it is now on the strategic map. Commercial trade on the strategic map is more complicated. It was different from the small fights that Xiaoming had on the adventure map. Xiaoming's plan was to use the characteristics of the mind-controlling space to build a commercial chain on the strategic map that could make money continuously. He had wanted to do this for a long time, but the towns he owned were too small to be considered commercial. They were basically self-sufficient small peasant economies. The only prosperous city was Pingnan City. You couldn't do commercial trade with only one city. Now there was finally a trading partner, Zinluo. But Li Huamei couldn't stay in Zinluo City permanently. She would definitely leave after the work was done. How could she stay? This was the question that Xiaoming had been thinking about all the way. He was confused until he arrived at the royal mausoleum, and was attracted by the quarrel, between the Li family and the guards of the royal mausoleum. After observing for a while, Xiaoming could be sure that the admiral must have come here specifically. The Li family pirates usually called Li Huamei informally, such as the big leader or the big boss. After the little girl called the admiral several times, the others thought it was good and began to follow suit. Xiaoming was also affected unconsciously. Things related to graves should only be of interest to the dead. Aren't we pirates? Is our admiral going to change his profession? After passing the outer defense, I saw a large area of desolate hills and withered trees, and sometimes there was wind and sand. The environment here is also quite bad, and it is very suitable for hiding tombs. But today is quite different. A large number of tourists brought laughter and a lively atmosphere. The original desolate atmosphere was completely destroyed. Of course, it is not to the point of being shoulder to shoulder, that is, there must be a group of people every 100 meters. Most sailors thought they were really here for fun, but they thought there was nothing fun or interesting here. Could it be to see people? The little girl also quickly exhausted her curiosity. No longer looking at those barren hills and dead trees, but sticking to Li Huamei to talk, making the pirate leader laugh and cry. After walking a few hundred meters inside, we saw the main body of the mausoleum, but the entrance was tightly guarded by a group of elite soldiers. There were several corpses displayed at the feet of the soldiers, and the appearance was terrifying, so that tourists dared not approach. Li Huamei led everyone to walk around the mausoleum twice, sighed with some regret, and looked a little lonely. It seems that no loopholes in the defense were found. Xiaoming was very happy, looking at the golden crown of Zinluo in his backpack and secretly happy. He was very familiar with this kind of mausoleum in the game. After realizing the universality of magic, any character of Xiaoming could use the magic that he was more familiar with. The most suitable magic to be used in the royal mausoleum is naturally the death harvest of the dead. As long as the distance is close enough, it can be activated, such as now. I don't know whether the researcher was lucky for the first time, or the admiral had a mission to increase the success rate. Death Harvest successfully obtained an item, and Xiaoming stuffed it into the backpack without even looking at it. How can you hold the stolen goods in your hands? You can check it in the bag. The researcher sneaked up to Li Huamei like a sleazy vendor selling pirated cards. Seeing his mean look, the two beauties, one big and one small, wanted to beat him up. Be patient and see what he wants to do. The researcher stretched out his right index finger in front of his mouth, made a silent gesture, and signaled the admiral not to make a fuss. Then he showed the golden crown in the backpack to Li Huamei in a veiled manner, and quickly took it back. Even the little loli who was sticking her head out didn't see it. Li Huamei was surprised, and immediately took the Li family to leave the royal mausoleum. If something was lost in the royal mausoleum and it was possible that it would be discovered by the guards, it would soon be unsafe. We must flee immediately. Along the way, the researcher was kicked several times by the angry Xiao Feng. My dear, I really didn't mean to offend you. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 125. Looking at the orc corpse on the floor in front of him, and Li Huamei standing next to the corpse with a sword in one hand and a cold and arrogant face, Xiao Ming was also speechless for a while. That's not what I meant. You started too quickly. Xiao Ming felt a pain in his forehead. What do you think? This orc is the little leader of the Orc Chamber of Commerce who sold stolen goods to the pirates who came to the island. He is one of our enemies. Do you think this body is suitable? The big leader waved the long sword in his hand, and if there is any inappropriateness, I will kill another one for you. Such a strange scene made Xiao Ming a little confused. 13. Why is this different from what I thought? Go back in time. After everyone in the Li family left King Wuning's mausoleum, they returned directly to the inn where everyone stayed in Xinluo City. Li Huamei slipped one hand around the researcher's neck and entered her superior guest room. The little loli wanted to follow but was mercilessly locked out of the door. She was so anxious that she wanted to cry. James and the other pirates winked at each other, and then pulled Song Xiaofeng, Admiral, they have to do something important that only adults can do. Children, don't make trouble. Of course Xiaofeng refused to comply. She struggled with all her teeth and claws to escape from James' control, but she could not succeed. But the pirates all smiled evilly. Didn't you expect the boss to have this kind of taste? Isn't this too common? Is this beauty in the eye of the beholder, or is it just flowers? Everyone was thinking about it. The situation in the single room was certainly not what these guys thought. Under the strong pressure and charm of the eldest sister, Xiao Ming basically told the whole situation. First, the matter of Xinluo's golden crown was explained. This is a special skill that Xiao Ming has mastered, Death Harvest. Since Li Huamei did have a corresponding mission, the golden crown was the target item. So as long as it is a stealing skill, the thing you get will definitely be a golden crown. Otherwise, there are countless funerary objects in the mausoleum. Even if Death Harvest hits and there is a small chance of getting an item reward, the chance that this item happens to be a golden crown is very slim. The difficulty of this task was originally quite high. The standard approach is to find a sufficiently advanced thief to enter the tomb and steal it. Or wait until the Li family is stronger and secretly lead people to attack. However, a forceful attack will arouse the hostility of the Xinluo kingdom and be pursued by its navy. The researcher has obtained a key skill in advance that can complete the task Death Harvest. This skill appears so early in the game because of Xiao Ming's own special ability, Superpower. According to normal game settings, the time when players meet the conditions and obtain the special skill of Death Harvest is much later than the time when they become a high-level thief. In line with the skill, because the researcher did not enter the tomb at all, the system also determined that the theft would not be discovered by the guards. In fact, it didn't matter if he didn't run away, but judging from the situation at the time, Li Huamei's decision to leave quickly was still a wise move. The lost treasure made the beautiful admiral feel extremely happy and radiant. Sister Yu's charm blossomed. Xiao Ming's eyes widened when she saw her. She was so beautiful. Li Huamei noticed the researcher's gaffe and didn't pay much attention to it. She had seen this look many times. Next, it's time to discuss rewards for researchers. Xiao Ming immediately proposed that he wanted to become a hero and act separately from the large army. The big leader's face changed after hearing this. Are you making this request because you think Arljia temple is too small to accommodate a giant Buddha like yours? Xiao Ming saw that the beauty had a bad look on her face and knew that she must have misunderstood. He quickly explained that the young man was interested in Xinluo products and wanted to engage in trade and earn a few bucks to spend. Li Huamei looked at the researcher up and down with contemptuous eyes. Technical people like you really don't understand business. How can doing business be so easy? On the strategic map, there is no problem if you buy some goods for your own use or for private transactions. But after all, it is a small game, and the transaction volume is strictly limited. This restriction is much stricter than on the adventure map. In addition, the researcher has no position on the strategic map, so this kind of trade will not make much money. If you want to really do business, you must first establish a chamber of commerce. Only the Chamber of Commerce can buy and sell bulk commodities. Then you have to sign a contract with the city's ruler to get the city's business share. Because bulk commodities require approval from the city where they are located. Transaction volume is also limited. Finally, there are caravans and trade routes. Naturally, bulk commodity transactions cannot be transported in a backpack. Professional means of transportation are required, either by car on land or by boat in water. This requires a caravan, and the caravan must be led by a hero. At the same time, the hero's troops can also provide protection for the caravan, so that the caravan can travel from one city to another. The trade route is simple. A trade route can be established between two contracted cities. Only caravans can conduct intercity trade along trade routes. These are still basic requirements. There are more other details. What kind of goods are profitable, how to negotiate prices when buying and selling, storage issues of different goods, and the management of various forces on the trade road. Sister, you only briefly explained some details, which made Xiaoming extremely embarrassed. He also understood what Li Huamei meant. Stop making trouble and just work honestly in the Li family. But Xiaoming is not that single-celled. After all, it is a plan that he has thought about for a long time. His solution is to occupy the magpie's nest. So Xiaoming showed the researcher's skill ancient transformation technique to Li Huamei. Seeing this, the cold beauty was silent for a long time. Just when Xiaoming was wondering if he should call someone in to take a look, Li Huamei's body shook and she began to give orders. Although the system skills are not deceptive, Li Huamei thought it was better to see how good the skills are first. Tell the researcher that the 3 places have been decided by the Li family. Leaving a sentence, wait here, then he hurried away. What is this for? 10 minutes later, Li Huamei came back again. Going to the room, closing the door from the inside, he took out a half-orc corpse from the space and threw it on the ground. It turns out that the system characters can do this trick. This is your first target for transformation. See how effective the transformation is. If you can replace him, you can do the trade you want. You can also infiltrate the enemy as a spy. I understand what you mean, sister, but this style of killing people and bringing back a corpse in 10 minutes is also very fierce. A trace of pity flashed across Xiaoming's face. This guy doesn't deserve pity. The Kun Chamber of Commerce is full of people who deserve to die. You will know after you get in, Li Huamei said firmly. Xiaoming still believed the admiral's words. In this case, let's give it a try. The researcher took out the bound treasure transformation atlas, placed it on the corpse and chose to absorb it. There was no bloody scene, a ball of red light covered the corpse. Then the corpse and the red light merged into one, and were absorbed by the atlas bit by bit until there was no body left. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 126. The half-orcs are a subspecies of the orcs, and their barbaric and violent nature is very similar to that of the orcs. However, their strength and physique are far weaker than those of the orcs, weaker than humans. It is common for them to be beaten to the point of being unable to take care of themselves in a duel. The difference in physique has cultivated their racial character of bullying the weak and fearing the strong, being cunning and mean. Among the half-orcs, There is no spirit of the orcs who would rather die in battle than surrender. Orcs will never be slaves. There are also no human-like whims and conspiracies that make up for the lack of force with wisdom. When they meet the weak, they are more cruel and brutal than wild beasts. When they meet the strong, they will kneel and lick without dignity. Being the lackeys and accomplices of the strong, helping them do dirty and tiring work, is the most common survival mode of this race. Although it is despicable, this mode has greatly improved the survival rate of this race. After all, many large races need such accomplices. So that the half-orcs gradually multiplied and grew stronger. Now the number of orcs far exceeds that of the orcs, and is almost on par with the human race with developed agricultural civilization. The large number of people has also improved the status of the orcs a little, and they even have their own country, army, and territory. In many cases, they can bully others. However, the orcs, whose racial characteristics are too vulgar, are still a subspecies of orcs and cannot get the status of a large tribe at all. The common status is still a subordinate race. The orcs have also established a chamber of commerce. But the orcs have no business acumen. They usually do illegal business such as human trafficking or selling stolen goods to pirates and bandits. So it is not surprising that Admiral Lihuame said that the people in the Orc Chamber of Commerce deserve to die. Their crimes are too numerous to list. The Kun Chamber of Commerce is one of the most powerful ones. Their headquarters is in the south, far away from the Ming Dynasty. There is only a branch near the Ming Dynasty. This branch has a very close relationship with the enemy of the Li family, the Ladeo pirates. The main purpose is to help the Ladeo family sell stolen goods and try to set foot in the Ming Dynasty waters. Half-Orc Said, the first new identity of the researcher Gu Transmigration. He is a small leader in the branch of Kun Chamber of Commerce in Xinluo. A mere first level 13 half-orc thief, the 5 attributes of 8, 7, 9, 2, 2 are really ugly. The unequipped attributes of 100 life, 90 strength, and 10 mana are even uglier. Not as good as the magic researcher. NPC's adventure attribute growth is different from that of players. There is no point addition of your own choice, and it all depends on your own qualifications. This qualification is not displayed to players. Saeed's strength and physique are only slightly stronger than the researcher, and his agility is okay, but his intelligence and spirit are completely useless. It's okay that the physical fitness of the half-orc is a little worse. But what's the matter with this combat skill? It's too bad, right? How can there be a thief who only has one sneak attack skill? He doesn't know anything else. Could it be that he has forgotten it because of the 30% chance of transformation? It's unlikely. If he forgets one, it's the end. This guy should be a waste. Lihuame didn't hunt a level 2 corpse for him, but brought this waste back. There must be a sufficient reason. Is it because this guy is a level 0, level 2 hero? I don't know what kind of luck he got to become a hero. But heroes can be useful. Although he is a grey waste hero, he is a hero after all and can lead troops to war independently. By the way, did Sister Li really think it through? Thinking of the Admiral's impetuous look, Xiaoming actually doubted that she just caught an enemy at random. Said's strategic profession is a barbarian. The 4-dimensional attributes are 2, 1, 0, 1. The upper limit of action and command is only 80 points. Growth is even more miserable. NPC strategic attributes do not have the power to freely add points and choose talents. It seems that free addition of points is the advantage of players over NPCs. Every 5 levels, command add 80, professional talent add 1. Every 10 levels, random attribute add 1, action limit add 40, number of troops add 1. Every level up, racial talent add 1, command add 80, action limit add 80, number of troops add 1. He is so useless that it is speechless. And his strength is 0, can he use magic? Xiaoming checked this guy's memory and found that this Said is quite suitable. As a useless person, No one pays attention to him, and he has no important responsibilities. Just do the work you should do. Most of the time, he is ignored, and his subordinates are all soldiers and creatures. Impersonating him is indeed a good choice. At the same time, it is also found that the loss of memory after transformation is not much, which is probably related to Xiaoming's superpowers. With Saeed's own ability, it is not enough to be a small leader. It was all thanks to his flattery that he was appreciated by the boss above. Speaking of flattery, it is also a kind of ability. In addition to his identity as a hero, the boss assigned him to be this small leader. There is nothing to do at ordinary times, and I dare not give him serious work. Every Sunday, he needs to take his men out to sea to contact the pirates on Ladeo Island. Exchange intelligence and possibly trade some pirate spoils. Kun Chamber of Commerce makes a lot of money on the difference. Of course, the only fleet he contacted was a weak squadron of the Ladeo pirates, and it was not his turn to contact the main fleet. The contact was completed this morning, and the transactions that needed to be completed were completed. No one will pay attention to Saeed until next Sunday. But unfortunately, Li Huamei's level of killing Saeed was too high, and apart from a few gold coins, there was nothing else to gain. Equipment, arms, and backpacks were all gone. Xiaoming had to pay for these things out of his own pocket. This is the life of a half-orc starting from scratch. The pirates of Ladeo are wanted in their own country and are not welcome in other countries, otherwise they would not have been skinned by the Kun Chamber of Commerce. The Kun Chamber of Commerce wanted to enter this area of waters and needed to win them over, so the exploitation of the Ladeo family was not serious. Both sides got what they needed and everyone was happy. Looking at the half-orc in front of her who had no resemblance to the researcher, Li Huamei was very happy. She had always been a little worried that this transformation technique was not worthy of its name. Now there is an underground worker who can penetrate the enemy. The admiral knows how much help a good spy can help his own development. This depends on the ability and work attitude of the researcher. Li Huamei was not very confident about this technical geek, and she definitely needed some proper instruction. The cool-down time for the transformation technique was 1 hour, so Li Huamei had no choice but to discuss some details with the ugly half-orc researcher in front of her. This appearance was very special, that is, very ugly. The beautiful lady was in pain and happy. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 127. The rain falls in front of the window, and a layer of light clouds and smoke covers it. The sadness is faint, and the swallows can't be heard. Looking back for 500 years has become a regret. The lover is far away, and I wake up with disappointment. These are some poems that Xiaoming has read before. It has nothing to do with Xiaoming's current mood. Xiaoming occasionally writes literary works, but he is just a little confused. The admiral talked to him for a long time and generously left him some useful treasures and equipment. After he transformed back into a researcher, he also presided over the job transfer ceremony and transferred the researcher to a hero. Li Huamei of course has a strategic treasure similar to the statue. There is basically no change when the researcher is transferred to a hero, except that the number of troops that can be led has increased, and they have the right to go on an independent expedition. The two discussed various matters such as the future contact method and handover method. This is as it should be, and there is nothing special. What was special was that when the Black Silk Queen was about to leave, she stared at the researcher deeply for a few minutes, and then gave him a kiss inexplicably. Then the fragrance disappeared. Xiaoming was stupid and didn't react at all, and was stunned for a long time. Brother, was I kissed by force? Big sister, what are you doing? If you want to say that the loser is ignorant. It's just a kiss, not a push. Is it necessary to be so entangled? When the otaku classmate came to his senses, everyone in the Li family had disappeared. This was agreed long ago, and the contact with the Li family in the future should be more covered. Next, it depends on yourself. Xiaoming, who has superpowers, said he was not afraid. So he hurried out of the game. Before leaving, a special setting was made: the intelligent program must not operate the researcher to leave Xinluo City. It can only move in the city. If you go out and can't get into the city again, it will be miserable. Stay in the city first and arrange everything. The next thing for the researcher is a lot of things, but it is not urgent, so there is plenty of time. Relatively speaking, there seems to be a lot of things for other characters. But Xiaoming decided to go out for dinner first. The world is big, but the stomach is the biggest. When he went out, he passed by the group of people who were monitoring him. It felt that they paid less attention to him. Xiaoming guessed that it might be that the confusing method of using the uniform beast game goddess to log into the game in the morning worked. He found a clean and simple porridge shop on the side of the road and ordered a bowl of millet porridge and pickles to cool down. While drinking porridge, he continued to think about the things in the game. The researcher and number 1 transformed into Saeed, and they could deal with it slowly. The accuser's mobility was not much, and it was Sunday, so the intelligent program could not choose to lead the troops to leave Pingnan City. As for the diver, after learning the Naga-inherited sword technique, there was nothing urgent. Only the explorer still had some things to deal with. I only used my superpowers to strengthen the silver statue of light, and I haven't had time to strengthen the ascetic equipment bag. And the statue's teleportation function has not been tested yet. At that time, the alien clone suddenly ran out and interrupted these things. I don't know if the next hour or so will be enough to sort out these things. Actually, there is no rush, but Xiaoming didn't realize it. Thinking of the alien clone, Xiaoming's thoughts began to go astray. When he returned to the studio, he had already run into things like postpartum care. Just after logging into the Explorer, the beautiful woman opposite scared him again. It was the High Priest Lan Yura who came to him for free food and drink. Lan Yura is also an ascetic monk. When she came last time, she noticed Xiaoming's signature dish, enhanced ascetic barbecue and water. But the timing was not very appropriate, so she never found a chance to mention it to the Explorer. When everyone is excited about the future of the ascetic monk, you jump up and say that the food is really delicious. This is too inappropriate. But after leaving, the smell of the food lingered for 3 days. It repeatedly tortured the taste buds of the high priest. Unlike those rough men who don't know how to live, or old men who are about to achieve enlightenment, Sister Lan is in her prime, enjoying the sensual pleasures of life. As an ascetic monk, she had to suppress a lot of her nature and couldn't release it. So this delicious taste she could eat was a bit unforgettable. The biggest motivation for actively rushing to do this errand task may be to come for the explorer's food. At this moment, Sister Lan ate without any image, which made Xiaoming worried. I saw her face like this, and I don't know if she will be killed in a while. Even the stomachs of high-level professionals are different. Xiaoming thinks that the high priest ate at least 3 times more than himself. After eating, he had to pack up and robbed Xiaoming's backpack of the small amount of stock. Then he twisted his waist and left with a smug look. The explorer and Lu Xiaomei looked at each other and laughed at the same time. The awkward atmosphere that might have arisen was eliminated in advance. After chatting with her for a few words, they went back to their rooms. Lu Xiaomei's appearance replaced her little sister to a certain extent, calming Xiaoming's slightly anxious mood. After returning to the bedroom, Xiaoming first summoned Xiao Bai and had a good time with it. It feels good to have a spirit pet licking your face. Xiao Bai, who was playing happily, had a hint of doubt in his eyes, as if asking why the other big bug owner disappeared. But Xiaoming didn't want to waste his mental power to summon his clone at this moment. There was still business ahead. First, the ascetic equipment bag was strengthened. So there is one more thing that can be purchased with the equipment bag, and it is very appropriate. Ascetic equipment bag, upward arrow, level 2 strategic treasure. Purchase ascetic heritage equipment, 10 gold coins equal 1 rattan staff, add 1 set. 10 gold coins equal 1 spirit pet armor. The matching effect of this treasure is too strong. Even the use of superpowers to strengthen, is also moving towards the direction of pets. Only ascetics with spirit pets can use the equipment bag to buy pet armor. The armor will naturally provide corresponding attribute bonuses to the pet. It will not affect the pet's own characteristics. When using the spirit pet's possession function, the armor will also add status to the owner accordingly. It is absolutely in line with the characteristics of the ascetic: good quality, low price, and economical. The spirit dog Ziobai is already very majestic, and with a set of armor, he is even more handsome. It's just that his temper is too much like Urha, and he rolls on the ground wearing armor. Can't you pretend to be 13 or something? Oh, forget it. I don't need to wash it anyway, so I'll do whatever I want. It costs 20 gold coins to equip a monk with all the equipment and pets. Han Dong has hundreds of people under him, so it will cost several thousand gold coins. This is still affordable. But the faith value is a bit insufficient. A first-level soldier who changes to a monk and equips a spirit pet will cost 20 points of faith. The 300 points I have a day are only enough to change jobs for a dozen people. It will take nearly a month to change jobs for the entire army. It's so troublesome. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 128. Many customs on Pangostar and Earth are similar. Cats and dogs are the real masters. Modern Chinese people on Pangostar also love pets, not only Chinese people, but also people of all races. They can't resist the charm of their masters. Various pet stores have everything from food, clothing, toys, beauty salons, hospitals, etc. Most pets live better than humans. In various virtual games, pets are also good partners for players. They can be cute, fight, show off, block guns. Almost all players expect a good pet. Even if there is no good one, you have to have an ordinary pet. You won't feel particularly sad when you die. Spirit pets are probably ranked in the middle of all pets, with good combat capabilities and a high overall cost effectiveness. The spirit dog Ziobai also has several combat skills. Pounce, bite, claw attack, these are common. As a spirit pet, it also has light attack magic holy light bullet. Similar to the light ball technique of the explorer. Of course, the possession skill is the highlight of the spirit pet. When using spirit possession, the explorer's basic attributes of strength, constitution, agility, intelligence, and spirit are add 3, and add 4, respectively. It is equivalent to the attributes of the 10th level. The bonus provided is also very average, which is in line with the characteristics of the explorer himself, balance. It is estimated that this is only the bonus at the first level. As the level increases, this bonus effect will definitely increase. Unlike most pets, spirit pets themselves have no experience points, and their levels and ranks are consistent with their owners. It's really economical and convenient. But this also loses some opportunities for unorthodox methods. Other professionals can cultivate pets that are much stronger than their owners, and then the pets help their owners to fight monsters and level up. Many Chinese currency players have barely joined the ranks of masters in this way. It doesn't matter if you can't do it yourself, just buy a super pet. Although this way of playing is still far from the top professional masters. But it is the easiest way for Chinese currency players to improve. Purchasing high-level equipment, skills, etc. can of course greatly improve combat effectiveness. However, these require the player's own operation to play a role. Pets are different. High-quality pets have extremely high intelligence and can freely exert their combat power without the need for player command. This high gold gameplay is definitely not affordable for players who choose to transfer to the ascetic monk. Xiaoming also doesn't like to spend money on games. He used to play online games and mobile games without spending a penny. He doesn't play each game for a long time. So Xiaoming is very satisfied with his spirit pet and is willing to spread it widely. Xiaoming, who is full of confidence, activated the teleportation function of the silver statue of light and went to the strategic map to expand the army and prepare for war. System prompt: please choose to teleport randomly or teleport to the subordinate hero Han Dong. Random teleportation may be fun, and the random teleportation of the researcher ran into something very interesting. But it is definitely not appropriate now. Xiaoming chose to teleport directly to Han Dong. Han Dong has left the wild boar's nest yesterday. Along the way, he collected some resources, visited 1 or 2 buildings, pushed a few waves of wild monsters, and rescued 7 more farmers. When the explorer teleported over, Han Dong was leading his troops to camp in an abandoned temple of light. He is quite good at finding places. Han Dong was excited but also a little surprised when he saw the explorer teleporting over. Wasn't this temple abandoned? How did the master teleport? When Xiaoming showed him the statue, he suddenly realized it. At the same time, he was very envious. In his opinion, this was the favor of the god of light to the explorer. His childhood friend Xiu Santung was more down to earth than him. He cared more about the explorer becoming a first-class knight and getting paid every month without doing anything. Both of them secretly made a vow in their hearts: work hard, strive, and be like the master in the future. Xiaoming didn't know that he had become the goal of the good friends. He was working on repairing this abandoned temple. According to Xiaoming's estimation, doing this kind of thing should be rewarded by the god of light. It is very likely to reward some faith points. Unexpectedly, a little surprise happened during the repair process. When the temple was repaired, the temple resonated with the silver statue of the god of light. At the same time, holy white light burst out, shining against each other. The system prompts: do you accept the special task issued by the silver statue of light, migration of the temple of light? It turned out that the location of the temple was not good, lacking protection and support, so it was abandoned due to disrepair. Even if it was repaired by Xiaoming this time, it would not last long. In time, the temple will still become a ruin. So the statue issued this migration task. It requires the explorer to move this temple to a place protected by the army and worshipped by believers. The task process is normal. But it is strange that the publisher of the task is the statue. There is no such item in the system's description of the statue. It should be a plot task that is triggered only when special conditions are met. Accept it decisively. The temple turned into a primary light temple summoning scroll in the light. It turns out that the temple of light was built with a scroll. The remaining faith points in the temple all went to the statue. Xiaoming was very disappointed. There were only about 200 faith points left in a temple, which was less than the amount of faith points the statue itself had in a day. How come this skinny camel is not as big as a horse? Bad review. Xiaoming, who wanted to make a fortune, was very disappointed. Fortunately, the temple returned the building resources. 20 units each of wood and stone, 10 units each of the other 4 resources, plus 10,000 gold coins. After deducting what was used during the recent restoration, the explorer still made a lot of money. The system is quite good at playing. Is this a slap in the face and a sweet date? According to the normal game process, Han Dong needs to find a good place and move Xiaoyang village so that he can place the Temple of Light and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But Xiaoming had another crooked idea. Villages must be relocated together with the villagers, which is quite difficult. But moving the temple, haha. Xiaoming put the holy statue and the temple scroll together in the butler's space. I still have 3 characters, so why not find a suitable place to place the temple? The task will be completed soon. Xiaoming was also confused. Somehow, his first stop was to go to the complainant. The game system seemed to have gone crazy, and actually allowed the informant to install a temple of light in Pingnan City. It may be because the White Fang Chamber of Commerce to which the deceased belongs is a neutral force, and the light and the undead can coexist in his city. Of course, coexistence will definitely have some corresponding consequences. Pingnanchange will be more attractive to neutral-leaning NPCs. But fanatical believers on either side may regard Pingnan City as a place of blasphemy, and regard the forces that report the dead as mortal enemies. If we really build the Temple of Light here, we may have to face unprecedented opportunities and storms. Xiaoming's hands shook a few times and it was difficult to make a decision. Build or not? This is a problem. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 129. It has to be said that because the game can use superpowers like cheats, Zhang Xiaoming has been playing this game of Magic Planet very well. Various tricks emerge in an endless stream, and he is doing well. The combination of holy light and undead is not a particularly new thing. Xiaoming has read several novels with this as the starting point. He is familiar with the common routines. But Xiaoming still does not intend to play this routine in Magic Planet. Although his previous gameplay was wild, it was based on his own superpowers. This is called having a bottom line in mind. The routine of holy light plus undead seems a bit suicidal to Xiaoming. It is destined to survive in the cracks. Xiaoming has no bottom line in this extreme challenge. The key is to make too many enemies, and they are all deadly enemies. This is not good. If you fail to play, someone will definitely come to cut the grass and root it out. Even if you succeed in a stage, you still have to be on guard against the open and hidden arrows from all sides. What's fun then? Xiaoming doesn't want to be abused. Maybe some players will like this kind of challenge, fighting with others, it is endless fun. And if you survive, you will definitely gain a lot. But Xiaoming, a otaku loser, definitely doesn't have this leisure time. It's better to catch up with the anime when you have time. So in the end, the dead did not confirm to build the Temple of Light in Pingnan City, but chose to cancel it. Switching to the researcher, Xiaoming thought that Xinluo was the most likely city to allow the construction of the Temple of Light. Who would have thought that the system would not allow it? The reason is that the Temple of Light in Xinluo City is already saturated. It turns out that the God of Light does not want his temples to compete with each other for territory. With a nervous mood, Xiaoming switched to the diver. Grey Rock Town is an adventure map, and I don't know if it can be done. Fortunately, the application for the construction of the temple was approved by the system, which made Xiaoming breathe a sigh of relief. But he didn't dare to choose to build it immediately. Anxiously checking the system prompts, praying that the risky situation like Pingnan City would not occur. Fortunately, Grey Rock Town is just an underwater town, and originally there was only the Temple of Poseidon. Maybe the sea god doesn't mind being a neighbor of the God of Light. The officials of Greystone Town are also willing to have one more temple to increase the prosperity of the town. This is good for everyone. Since there are no negative prompts, it means that there will be no obvious negative effects. Now Xiaoming is finally relieved and chooses to build the Temple of Light. The system deducted 30,000 gold coins from him. It's also unlucky. If you build on the strategic map, you can use the strategic materials there. It doesn't cost so much money. But on the adventure map, the diver didn't accumulate much supplies, so the system collected all the gold coins. 30,000 is probably discounted. The holy light descended on this underwater town for the first time, and a holy temple of light appeared at the diver's original residence. The diver's residence was automatically transferred to a bedroom in the temple. The builder diver also received the favor of the god of light and became the first manager of this temple. Spreading the holy light to the bottom of the sea is a great contribution to the god of light. So only the first level diver can become a manager. This status far beyond his level of strength is a reward for his merit. Of course, it is also because there is really no one else in this gata. The temple relocation task is completed. Although the task itself is only a blue task, the completion rate is very good. The reward is naturally very generous. A holy light shines on the statue, which is a gift from the god of light. The silver statue of the god of light has been upgraded. But this is not over yet. A blue light also descended on the statue. Although Xiaoming has never seen it, he also guessed that it was a gift from the god of the sea. The statue has changed slightly again. Do the god of the sea and the god of light have a good relationship? Not only does he not mind him coming to grab the territory, he even helps to add bricks and tiles. This god and human have different ideas. After a little sigh, Xiaoming quickly picked up the statue to check what has changed. The statue was originally just a white jade carving with a blurred face of the god of light, surrounded by silver light. At this moment, the light has turned golden, mixed with a few strands of blue light. It feels much more lively. Golden statue of the god of light, upward arrow, a 4th tier strategic treasure. Faith value, 200 plus /100,000. Several of the original functions have also been upgraded. First, the number of people in the strategic teleportation function has been increased to 9. And the number of teleportation coordinates that can be recorded has also been increased. The coordinates are the destinations that can be teleported. The initial set of teleportation coordinates is automatic, which is the location where the player left the map. When the explorer teleports from the bedroom to the strategic map, the coordinates are automatically recorded in the bedroom. When the explorer teleports back to the adventure map, he will appear at the location of the coordinates, the bedroom. Similarly, the teleportation coordinates will also be recorded where the explorer left the strategic map, and the same location will be the next time he comes. A set of recordable coordinates has been added, that is, in addition to the location where he left last time, the player can also record one more coordinate, which will give him one more choice when teleporting. This makes the player more flexible in strategy and tactics. Of course, since a maximum of 9 people can be teleported, large troops cannot be carried. The second function of the ascetics job transfer is no longer limited to NPCs of the light race, as long as they believe in light. Demons and undead can do it, and so can players. It takes 100 points of faith to transfer a level 1 player. The third function has been upgraded from a simple general job transfer to a general/hero job transfer. That is, you can transfer to a general or a hero. At the same time, similar to the changes in the second function, free NPCs who believe in light can transfer, and players can also. It's just very expensive. A level 1 player needs 1000 points of faith to transfer. Light devotion is the only function that has not changed. The statue has kept the tradition of being picky. Xiaoming actually hopes that this can be changed. The last function, Light Partner 1, is upgraded to Light Partner 2. There is one more type of spiritual pet choice: birds, pigeons, ostriches, falcons. Xiaoming is curious, when a bird's spiritual pet possesses, can it make the owner fly? It is probably unlikely. I have Xiaobai, and I am reluctant to give it up. Now I can't see it. I'll wait and see what the bird pets summoned by others look like in the future. It is reasonable to upgrade to the 4th level of the golden statue. The original functions are collectively upgraded. And the gift of the sea god is reflected in the 6th function, the blessing of the sea. Explorers can consume the faith value of the holy image to add a permanent effect to any ascetic, the blessing of the ocean. Adding the blessing of the ocean is not divided by rank and identity, and each ascetic must consume 100 points of faith. The blessed person gains the ability to breathe underwater and automatically becomes a believer of the sea god. Permanent underwater breathing ability. What a strong blessing effect! Although you can breathe underwater, you have not turned into a fish, and the resistance and pressure of the water are still there. If you don't have a strong body like the sea people, it's better not to enter the deep sea casually. As for why the blessing of the ocean consumes the faith value of the god of light, haha, they let you settle down on the seabed, don't you have to pay rent or something? Magic Planet Online Game. Author, Lanzai Cai Shi Zhen Shen. Chapter 130. Promoted to a 4th level strategic treasure, the function of the gold statue is undoubtedly more powerful than that of the silver statue. But to be honest, Xiaoming feels that this little increase is not worthy of the title of a 4th level treasure. Could it be that the gift from the sea god caused some abnormal changes? It has come to this, and Xiaoming has no choice. If he had not come to the bottom of the sea, the merit of building a temple would never allow the silver statue to be upgraded. Since we are here, we should make the best use of it. But this requires the use of faith value. Who can tell me, what is the matter with only more than 200 points of faith value left? Didn't it just increase to more than 500 points? Why is it deducted by 300 points? Even with this little family background, we have to pluck hair. Is this still a game? Xiaoming opened the system record indignantly to see why 300 points were deducted. Mo, it turns out that the diver was appointed as the temple manager and needs to pay faith value. Then the faith value of the diver should be deducted. Why should the statue be deducted? The stingy Xiaoming talked to himself in a specious way, not thinking about where the faith value of the diver came from. By the way, the diver has become a manager, so he should go into the temple to see if there are any benefits. The diver put on an invisible alien suit and walked into the Temple of Light on the seabed. Only then did he realize that he, the manager, was penniless, started from scratch, had nothing in his house, and closed the door to visitors. It is indeed a bit embarrassing to open the door. In addition to the stone furniture in his bedroom, there is only one statue of the God of Light in the temple. It is still brought by the temple. Can it be called a temple without a statue? There is only one civil servant in the temple, and he is responsible for his own profits and losses. Xiaoming doesn't care about the gold coins. But the temple still needs the prayers of believers to support it. Huiyan Town Temple of Light, Test Temple Faith Value 0/10,000, Believers 1/100 Daily Maintenance requires 10 points of faith. It's just a test temple, which probably means it's not even at the primary level. It feels far inferior to the statue. By the way, are there tests for temples? 10 points of faith is about the amount of prayer for a primary believer like a diver for 1 hour, which can be self-sufficient. The player's character's faith value for each god is invisible data, which the player himself cannot see. It can only be inferred through some side information. Like the information just now, it is not inferred, but actively provided by the system. The system chose to tell Xiaoming this information directly, and did not intend to keep it a secret here. Xiaoming himself doesn't care, anyway, things like praying must be left to the intelligent program to handle. In terms of function, the primary light temple has several functions similar to the silver statue. There is no special connection with the ascetic. Accepting the prayers of believers will gain faith points, and only with faith points can most of the functions of the temple be activated. And the temple can only be upgraded when there are enough believers. Of course, there are not many functions displayed for the time being. After all, it is just a test product. The most basic function is the strategic transmission function, which is a must-have function for the temple. No need to consume faith value. But this function is temporarily sealed. The manager needs to find the appropriate transmission coordinates on the strategic map to establish a fixed transmission channel. This is the task that divers have to take when they become temple managers. For the time being, only the manager can transmit in the temple, and it is random transmission. The temple has to send him to the strategic map to find the coordinates. Seeing this ability, Xiaoming immediately thought of the set of transmission coordinates added by the golden statue. Wouldn't it be great to set it here? He picked up the golden statue excitedly and was about to set it. Unexpectedly, the system poured a basin of cold water down. The owner of the statue is an explorer, and divers cannot use its functions. Damn, how can this statue be so ungrateful? I'm helping you. Xiaoming's face was cold, and he couldn't help mumbling. Before the voice fell, the statue glowed with white light. Are you angry? Do you want to slap me in the face right away? I really didn't mean it. LLL Omega. System prompt. The diver's application was sensed by the god of light and he was very interested. So this application was passed on through the holy statue rightward arrow god of light rightward arrow explorer rightward arrow Xiao rightward arrow diver. What a troublesome series of transfer stations. It's hard for the system to do such a thing. Can God do such a thing? What is the so-called God in the game? Is it an advanced intelligent program or a branch system? There seems to be no difference between the two. Think about it carefully, the transfer of applications is actually quite reasonable. The Temple of Light is located in the territory of the sea god under the sea, and the two gods must have a chat and negotiate something. At least a wisp of their souls have to talk to each other. So it's normal that the god of light is still paying attention to it at this time. If it weren't for this little bit of attention, the diver's application would probably be directly rejected by the system, and that would be the end of it. The god of light who discovered this thought it was a good thing. He didn't care about the diver's muttering at all. But the owner of the holy statue is the explorer, so the god will not force the decision. So the diver's application was passed to the explorer. The person who received the application was Xiao, the intelligent program operating the explorer, who passed it to his boss, Xiaoming. Xiaoming happened to be at the diver's place, so the diver's application returned to him after a round of twists and turns. Asterisk, it's so boring. After the application was approved, the fixed coordinates of the adventure map of the golden statue of the God of Light were set in the God of Light test temple in Greystone Town. Xiaoming thought it was interesting and wanted to strike while the iron was hot, and do something while the God of Light was still paying attention. So he immediately stuffed the statue into the housekeeper space, and quickly switched to the informer of the dead. It was self-evident what he wanted to do. The informer of the dead took the statue and applied to the system to set the fixed coordinates of the statue on the strategic map in Pingnan City. The routine is not afraid of being old, as long as it is useful. The system probably thought this was quite interesting, so it copied the application of the informer of the dead and passed it around again. Finally, Xiaoming confirmed that the fixed coordinates of the strategic map of the statue were set in Pingnan City. Because the setting of these two new coordinates was successful, the scope of the explorer's activities was greatly expanded. The statue is exclusive to explorers. He really lived up to his name and could explore everywhere. And he also connected explorers, divers, and informers of the dead together. Wow, the researcher is so pitiful. Although the statue cannot allow the explorer to teleport with a large army, the 9-person quota allows the explorer to travel around with the dead and the diver. The combined efforts of several people should produce an effect that is greater than the sum of the two, right? However, for the consideration of interracial trade, the characters should still develop independently at ordinary times.